mad genius of rock and roll.
It's one of those days, my friends. Thank you very much. The alert works. Look at that. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, no technical problems. Just wasn't quite ready. I've been up since like 1:30 this morning with a headache. 2:30 doing the pukey thingy. Still got a headache. It's better, but yeah. So not quite there. Good morning, Scott Duke. This is more fun than watching Shazam on Saturday mornings in the 70s. Well, thank you. I remember Saturday morning cartoons, 70s, 80s. Oh my goodness. I didn't know you were old enough to know that, to enjoy that, Scott. Good morning, Zombie God, Bomb Poppy, Rion Cultastic, all you wonderful people, Quasar. Again, Ryan, if you're there and you feel like popping in and updating us on your Star Trek adventures, I would love to have you, just if you feel the urge, because you know how I am with the Star Trek. Let there be sound. Yes, only place where the topic is never dull. I try. We try to have some fun here. Good morning, Anthony Fremont. Thank you for joining us. And Infidel. I like looking at pretty people. No need for words. Good morning, Infidel. Thank you for joining us. Baffo Jr., technical problems. All you wonderful people. Thunderbirds. What was that? Thundercats? I remember Thundercats as a kid. There was the one with the sword, the sun sword. Do you guys, any of you old enough to remember the one with the sun sword? This guy had a sun sword. It was basically a lightsaber, but you know what it was. He was a Neanderthal kind of man, had a sun sword. And there was this blue chick that was his sidekick that ran around. Thundar the Barbarian. Yes, Thundar the Barbarian. Yes. Oh, yeah, thank you. I made sure to get extra dog hairs on. I got to be honest, I don't know if you can tell or not. It's covered in dog hair because this is my studio, but in the mornings before the evil one gets up, I get the dogs in here and I kind of keep them all under wraps. But when I got my headache, I just lay down on the floor and I end up covered with dog hair. Yeah, Thundar the Barbarian. Anyway, they had this chick in a blue outfit that, as a kid, I always thought was quite hot. And I was really kid, so I guess that, if you, yeah, there you go. Let me show you the picture here, if I can. Bum. Doesn't seem as hot in this picture as it did in my ute. There you go. Stop sharing. Oh, because we're in the top layer. Let's go here. Boo-doo-boo-doo-boo. There we go. Let's go here. And now let's go Studio One. Okay, awesome. I don't even remember the female's name, the female character's name. Yeah, she was, I always thought she was hot. I ended up marrying me one of those because that's my style. I like them females. No, Brent, just chilling on here with a couch half awake. Yeah. No, Sci-Fi Saturdays, usually I do them alone. Last week, Ryan was awake and conscious, and we got her she caught us up on her Star Trek adventures. She's actually into season 4 now. She went past the Best of Both Worlds episode, the 2-parter where Jean-Luc gets captured by the Borg and all that. Yeah, so she's cruising right along. Princess Ariel, there you go. That was her name. Yeah, I really had the hots for her. Let's see what that other one is. Yeah, and he had his sun sword. Again, it's little more than just a lightsaber. But hey, it was cool. Wow. Princess Ariel. Wow, there. All right, wait a second. Let's go. In case you guys wanted to know, let's go here. Share. And then here's the voice actors. This is Princess Ariel. And then Ulok the Mock. Ukla the Mock. Thundar, Robert Ridgely. He looks like Thundar. Mindok the Mind Menace. Wow, narrator. Very cool. Who'd have thunk? Nancy McKeon. You guys remember her, right? From, Facts of Life. Facts of Life. You remember her from Facts of Life? Evan Sachs. Good morning. How are you doing, Evan? Nice to see you this morning. Silverhawks was the sci-fi version of Thundercats. Huh. I remember Robotech just barely. Just barely remember me some Robotech. Which then I guess turned into MechWarrior, which I played a lot of MechWarrior games. Good morning, Obi Atheist. Thank you for joining us. Says, hope we're doing well. We are so far. My head is feeling better. I mean, it's not like that one time, man. This may have been vodka, but there's a difference. Because last night I drank 2 little tumblers, I guess you call it, 2 mixed drinks, small mixed drinks, with vodka and Sprite. But the migraines, headaches leave me with hot and cold sweats in the bathroom on the floor throwing up. That happened this morning. So I don't know. Was it the vodka? Was it just time for another headache? I don't know. We'll find out. Probably I'm going to blame the vodka and just hope it'll go away soon. Chris, do you remember that in between, the time between Star Trek original series and Star Trek movie, wondering if there's a new Star Trek ever again? I do remember that. And I also remember that they actually had a cartoon series, Star Trek Continues. No? Phase 2, Star Trek Phase 2. And that was kind of like the only thing we had between the death of the original series and the movies. And then there was this time after the next generation, like after Enterprise. Enterprise went off the air, I think like in 2001 or 2002, somewhere in there. And it was 7 or 8 years before they did the next movie. And then they did 2 or 3 movies, and they were just kind of doing movies. Then finally they came back with Discovery, and I was very sad with Discovery. Wanted it to be good. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. Spock's brain. Brain. What is brain? brain. What is brain? For those of you who know that episode. There was this one lady who played, Angelique Pettyjohn. She played in the Gamesters of Triskelion. If you remember that, she had this big, huge bouffant of a green wig, I think she had on. Then she had these, it looked like she was wearing tinfoil. She had these very large breastises, and it looked like baked potatoes and tinfoil. It was very fantastic. And she actually went on to do porn after that. So if you were interested, if you're into that sort of thing, you could go look her up on the interwebs and watch her do the porn. She was into the porn. Infidel says, oh, what phase 2? Somebody please tell me the underpants gnomes. What's phase 2? Okay, so phase 2, Star Trek Phase 2 was going to be another series after the original TOS and between the movies, but they didn't go with the series. They went with was that cartoon? I don't even remember. But to be honest, I never even saw the cartoon. I don't think I've ever seen a single episode of the cartoon. I know about it, just never seen any of it. Good morning, Simply Secular Dave. I remember the countdown in the theater before Star Trek the Motion Picture began. So many cosplayers, so good. Yes. Yvonne Craig, who played Batgirl, also played the Orion girl in the Star Trek in the episode about the mental hospital. Yeah. Oh, I really enjoy the Orion slave girls. They're some of my favorite themes, And then, although I have to say, I don't actually like Enterprise very much. It's not that it's not Star Trek, it's just bad Star Trek. Or not interesting Star Trek, some of it. Anyway, that was one of the things that I really appreciated what they did, was they gave us a glimpse into the Orions, and that's where in Enterprise you find out the Orion slave girls are actually the ones who are in control. They're the masters. And I thought that was very, very good little twist, the way they did that. Can a cartoon and a human have a baby? I don't think they can. That's a great question. I wonder if Roger Rabbit would have anything to say about that. I watched a thing on Roger Rabbit yesterday. It was a very good little show about the making of and how hard it was to get it made and all that. Evan Sachs says, I think I've seen like one animated TOS episode. Yeah. Yeah, Evan Sachs says Enterprise is so anti-macho and special. I hate it. Yeah, that's what I didn't like. If I had hopes for it, I had hopes for it, but it got to where, and I love me some the actor. What's his name? You guys know his name. My head hurts. I love the actor. I think he's great because Quantum Leap and all that. But first of all, they did the wrong thing with Enterprise. It was just stupid. The Xindi instead of the Romulan War. They should have done the Romulan War and followed the timeline and just stuck with it. There's plenty to do right there. But I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, I really do like how they did the Orion slave girls and what they did there. Brad Pitt earliest movies was interesting. Cool World was interesting. Yeah, I forgot about Cool World. That was hot. Don't miss DaveCon 2025 for Davids, and Dave enthusiasts. Try the new Dave simulator. You want to see what it's like to be a Dave? Go try the Dave simulator. Trina says the address you have listed is good to send you packages. Yes, I'm putting some things together for you and it'll be shipped in boxes. Well, thank you, Trina. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's what I got that for, was so people could send me stuff and if it blows up, it doesn't hurt my house. I remember I went down and I got that thing. It was expensive to get that mail in, because it's not a post office box. It's the actual address. It was expensive, and I got it thinking, okay, Master Pastor name. Don't send anything volatile. But anyway, yeah, so you can send things there. Thank you very much. Jessie Bear, I think she's threatening to send me a little goat she's knitting. So we're gonna see about that. Sumami said, oh, good morning, Sumami. Thank you for joining us for Sci-Fi. That's the first thing I read when I came in. Oh, what was the first thing? I hate the name with Jessica with a passion, but also deeply identified with Jessica Rabbit. Interesting. I recently heard about the origin of the word Jessica. Well, didn't Shakespeare invent the name Jessica? I think Shakespeare invented the name Jessica. Yes, Jessica. He did. Yeah, so kind of cool. Who knows? That's what I do. I drink coffee and know stuff. Actually, it came from the ancient, Hebrew, Ishka and all that business, but eventually got down to him and he turned it into Jessica. I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way. That's right, Left-Handed Jedi. That's what I heard about you. Good morning. You know who we haven't seen this week very much of? We haven't seen Raven Lunatic. Usually in here picking on me. I'm going to have to send him an email. Say, hey, man, where you at? You all right? Everything okay? I do that every now and then when regulars stop showing up. I'm like, hey, you all right? I did that to Salty. Remember Salt of the Red Earth used to show up all the time? I went and found her YouTube channel. I was like, then I found her email address. I'm like, girl, where you been? Turns out she's just busy. Is Jessica from Measure for Measure? Do you remember which play? Merchant of Venice. Yeah. Who used it for a character in his play, The Merchant of Venice? I haven't been in that one. I have. No, that's Two Gentlemen of Verona. Never mind. Trina says, I have very old, very original Star Trek stuff I think you'll like. Well, I love Star Trek stuff. Old, original. You guys want to see something? I'll show you something I got for my birthday a little while back. Let me run a little commercial here, just a tiny one for atheism, and I'll go get something if I can find it. Oh, goodness, where is it? I'll find it, and I'll bring it here, and I'll show you.
Life is complicated. These are trying times. There are many questions that need answering. Want to know what's going to help? Atheism. With atheism, you'll get rid of dogma, superstitions, and toxic thought patterns that are holding you back. You can drive while taking atheism, as well as use heavy machinery. In fact, drinking alcohol, fornicating, and Sunday mornings are far more enjoyable with atheism. However, there are side effects. Some evangelicals and fundamentalists will think you are possessed by the devil. But you don't have to worry, because you know the devil isn't real. Just like God. Wake up to your life. Believe in yourself. Believe in science. Atheist.
Look at that. An original album from the motion picture. You see how it's old? It's been stored. And you can see the outline of the record there. It's all original. Comes complete with it. And I want to tell you, for those of you, I don't know why, but this is as far as I've ever gotten. And because I don't have a record player. So for the first time, let's pull this out and see what's in here. I just never have before. It was a gift. Somebody had, man, that is in pristine condition. That is fantastic. Star Trek the Motion Picture soundtrack. Wow. Yeah, so somebody apparently found this and bought it for knowing I'm a Star Trek nerd and bought it for me. Oh, something. It's been a while, and I thought that was very nice for somebody to know I'm a Star Trekky nerd and get me something like this. OG. So yeah, I mean, hell yeah. Anything you want to send me Star Trek, I'll take it. I'll feature it on the show. I'll show everybody. I love me some Star Trek. OG stuff is the best too. I have in the other room, the evil one year got me a still frame from Star Trek. It's Picard. It's Picard's face. I think it's from the first movie after the series. I don't remember which movie, but it's a still frame of where they actually had they were still using frames, and we got literally one of the frames from it. Vinyl never went out. It has a sound that can't be duplicated digitally. Oh, I so much enjoy music. I don't have a record player though. And I wouldn't. I don't think I would. I want to, it's just, this is an artifact now. It's a relic. My niece Olivia gave it to me. That's it. That's who gave it to me. Yes. Part of the deal is like people who I barely know, but I've known for a long time, and they thought enough of me and they knew enough about me that whenever I got it, they gave me the thing. Nemesis. Star Trek Nemesis. That's the movie. The evil one apparently is on the ball in there. Let's see here. Miss Non Sequitur, I saw you on a show the other day, yesterday. Was it Myth Vision? No. I saw you on a show. You were talking. I said hi, but there were so many people you couldn't see. Good morning. Simply Secular Dave says hi to the damn wife. Mel's Rebellion. Yay, Star Trek. Did you see that, Mel? Good morning, Mel. I don't recognize your name. Welcome to the damn nation. Thank you for joining us. Did you see that? One of my nieces had given me this a while back. It's the original Star Trek motion picture soundtrack. Isn't that if you're an old person and you love some Star Trek, oh my goodness. MP3s are, oh my goodness. They are. If you're an audiophile, it's just not the same at all. Yeah, that's true. Mudd, Harry Mudd on the original Star Trek was a fantastic character. Let's see here. Why is that shiny like that? Interesting. I don't know why my stuff is acting weird. I don't know. Captive Desk, Star Trek shirt, you two watching. Okay, let's see this. I'll watch. All right, let's go here. There we go. Video isn't available. It says somebody sent me a link. It says the video isn't available. Oh, it didn't catch the whole thing. Let me try that. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I don't even need that. It's just me talking. There we go. Come on, damn thing. Post a link. It's not giving me the whole link. It's truncating that link for some reason. Dave, you want to post it again for me? Post that link again for me? I want to see that. That's cool. Evan Sachs says, my favorite captain is definitely still Benjamin Sisko. I might or might not have named a cat after him. Well done. Yes. I love me some Benjamin Sisko. There we go. Now I can see my own face. Benjamin Sisko, it's so hard to say. I love Picard. I was raised on Star Trek The Next Generation. With Picard, I do theater. I love Shakespeare. I do all these things because of the influences of Patrick Stewart and Jean-Luc Picard on my life. But Sisko is my favorite captain. I mean, it depends on circumstances. You know, what circumstances you're under as to which captain I'd want to have with me, you know. But I really enjoy some Benjamin Sisko. I have some, like, the actor Avery Brooks played Hawk in Spencer for Hire, which I used to love as a kid. I wanted to be Spencer. I had a girlfriend. She was going to be a psychologist, and I was going to be an investigator, and it was just going to be, I used to love, but then every now and then Hawk would come out and save Spencer, and then he became, Benjamin Sisko, and I love me some Benjamin Sisko. Good morning, gray old dude. Moo. Nice to have you. Brent A says, Picard, Sisko, Janeway, Kirk, Pike. Pike is the boss, though. Yeah, the wife really loves Pike. Captain Daddy, she calls him. Because this is hair. I got my Captain Daddy hair going on whenever it's nice and tall. Tristan says, I wanted to be Data. Yeah, Data was very cool. Very, very influential. What a fantastic character, and so well played by Brent Spiner. It's just fantastic. Strange New World is hotness. It is. I love the Strange New Worlds. The musical episode, I enjoyed that. When it first come on, I'm watching it and we're going along, it's like a humdum thing, and the music starts. Dun, 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 and you're like, what's going on? And Spock goes, the intermixed chamber and containment field are stable. And you're like, what the hell? And I was like, is this a musical episode? Oh! And it was, because I'm a theater kid, right? I mean, musical episodes. So I loved it. Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm an honest character. I would have to watch it again. I've only seen the episode once. I remember being meh on the episode. Music, I like the music. Some of the songs were too long. One of them was too long. By Christina Chong, the one she sings, it's too long. Too long for the show, but it's a great song. So fantastic. I love, all right, let's try that. Is it going to work this time? Oh. Damn you. Let's try it again. Oh, there it is. There we go. Where's the Star Trek shirt? I ain't seeing it. Oh, I see it. Okay. Are they going to put it up on the screen? Oh, yeah, that's awesome, Dave. Let me share that on the screen. Dave, man, that's cool. Looking good there. Star Trek. There we go. There you go. Awesome sauce, Dave.
I saw my
For any of you who don't know, this is Dave with Captive Desk. Let me go ahead and post a link. Go over and subscribe to Dave. Wow, you're getting close to 500 subscribers, Dave. May have to, you be monetized before long. Let's go here, copy, and I'm going to paste this over here for you. Good morning, John Darwin. Nice to have you there in the chat. And I'll close that. Very good. Awesome.
Star Trek shirt. And I said, oh, I'll wear this. Maybe Chris will stop by. If not, Chris, here's the clip for you.
There you go.
I'm wearing my Star Trek shirt. So hello, damn network. You can clip this, put it on over there. Hello, everybody.
And
Star Trek shirt. There we go.
I'm going to leave that up. I'm going to save that for later. That's like, juicy stuff in my mustache. I'm going to save that for later. Thank you for that. Let me go over here. That is cool. I guess I'm getting to be known for some side, not the atheist, the sci-fi atheist, maybe. I don't know, but hey, I'm glad with that. That works. I want to say my head is feeling better. I'm feeling better. I am. As we're going through the morning, it's still there. I can still hear it, but it's better. I can stretch my imagination just so far. The musical episode showed me where the line was. I kind of get that. You know, I mean, I've never rewatched the episode, but I've heard the songs thousands of times. I'll go on there and I'll search for a Star Trek musical playlist, find the one that's got like 13 songs in it, and I'll start from the beginning. I'll just go do dishes or some business. You know, Miss Non Sequitur says, I love Lower Decks. I didn't. I really didn't. When I first started watching Lower Decks, here's what the situation was. Discovery was out. And Discovery at first I had a lot of hopes for, but then it kind of went Discovery ways. And I wasn't very happy with the way it was going. And then they would Lower Decks. And I was like, yes, you know, it's a cartoon, but yes. And then I watched it. It was like, and like the first episode, the opening of the first episode, the lady, Mariner cuts this guy's leg with a batleth. And I was like, And I was not a happy Chris, foolishly, ever so foolishly. But it was only because of other circumstances. So I watched a couple episodes. I didn't really care for it so much. It's all right. Then one day it hit me. It hit me that Star Trek Lower Decks is not for me. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's not for you. If I take it, it's not for any of us. Star Trek Lower Decks is a cartoon show that would be showing in universe on a Star Trek, on an Enterprise. You know, you're kicking out, you had a long day at work, get off shift, you go home, you want to sit down and watch something fun. So you'd watch an episode of Lower Decks. And once I took it in that, I was like, oh, and it made so much more sense for me. I know that's weird, but then I just kind of had to let myself be loose and enjoy it. And I loved it. I loved Lower Decks. I have not gotten over it. We haven't even seen it all. So there's good Lower Decks for us to watch there. The wife enjoyed it. And the other one, Prodigy. She really enjoyed the one Prodigy. Yeah, but at first I stuck my nose in the air. I shouldn't have. I should not have. But it was already in the air from Discovery. And you know, have any of you watched the new movie, the Section 31 movie? Show of hands. If you can let me know in the chat if you've seen the new Section 31 movie and if you like it or not, or yeah, Miss Non Sequitur. It is hilarious. I really enjoy it. And then the crossover episode with Strange New Worlds, I thought that was cute too. So, okay. You might notice that Section 31 is, if you've noticed, it's got a lot of really bad reviews. Let me tell you, the smarter you are, the more you'll like Lower Decks. So damn wife liking it checks out. Yes, that's true, Sequitur. That's right. With Section 31, it was Discovery. It was a continuation of like the Discovery stuff. I wanted better. I was expecting better. It was really, I thought, let's see here. Somebody said they kind of liked it. Somebody said they liked, says Section 31 was a good movie in your opinion. I guess maybe it might have been a fun movie had I not been who I am. I really did not enjoy it at all. It was, if you ask me, and I mean, no reflection on you or your liking of the movie. It sucked right from the very beginning. It was stupid. The cackling Vulcan guy who wasn't a Vulcan, who was a little thing that and it was just stupid. It was stupid from the very beginning. It's a heist movie where all of the heist people are incompetent, completely incompetent. And Michelle Yeoh points that out at the very beginning. It's a horrible, horrible movie. In times, that's the evil one. We were watching it and I was like, okay, I need to reset for a moment and try to reset and accept it for what it is and just have fun with it. And I tried. Maybe a second watch. I don't know if I could get through it again. Part of the deal was it was written and created by the same people who did Discovery. And that's why it is the way it is. That's how I think. Yeah, I wouldn't pay money for it. Quasar says I won't stream it. Yeah, So Section 31 felt like Suicide Squad to me. Yeah, Star Trek Suicide Squad. Yeah, it was a missed opportunity. Section 31, Michelle Yeoh coming off as the Empress could have been a serious, badass Star Trek movie. Serious and badass. But no, it was a half-hearted comedy. It sucked. Tristan says, tell you how you, there you go. Section 31 was supposed to be a show, and then they changed it to a movie after they started. Yeah, I could see. I wouldn't want. I just wouldn't want. Oh, I didn't even post that. Let me post that. There's Captive Disc's page if you guys want to go subscribe to him. He's 30 away from hitting the 500 mark. Here we go. And that was Joe calling you out too. That's awesome. I see it there. Thank you for that, Dave. Yeah. One of the things I like to say is, don't listen to this jackass. Don't listen. I mean, do yourself a favor or an unfavor. Maybe at least watch it. Give it the opening 5 minutes or so. It was. I just found it was very unfortunate. We could have come up with a better script. Just two or three of us. Me and Ollie could have come up with a better script. Just my thinking, because I mean, part of the deal is, what was her setup? She's supposed to be the baddest, most, vicious woman in all of that other galaxy and all this other stuff and our universe. And it just came off. It was total slapstick. Obvious twists and turns were obvious, Oh, somebody's doing this thing. Well, it obviously looks like it's going to be that guy who's doing it, so it clearly can't be that guy who's doing it, so it's got to be that other guy who's doing it. And it's like, oh my goodness. I tell you what, anybody who goes and watches it after this, let me know. Feel free to pop back in here and go, oh my God, you were right, or tell me how wrong I was. The original series, Chris, what do you think of the OS reboots? What do you mean OS reboots? What am I missing? The atrocity of Section 31 made me appreciate Greenlight. So, Sean, so you've seen Section 31. Sean is a nerd, true sci-fi nerd, spoken from the heart. Sean, you've seen Section 31. It was that unfortunate for you. I actually enjoyed the Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds. I can be simple, even blunt things. I want to say lowbrow entertainment can be good when it's done right. And I thought a lot of that was done right, myself. Trek movies is what? Oh, the Trek movies. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Of the OS reboots. Oh, the movie. You even said the movies right there. I like the movies. Here's the deal with I was able to get the evil one into the Next Generation because she had already seen it when she was younger, a little bit of it, and she liked John Delancey, who plays Q, because he was in Days of Our Lives. So I was able to get her back into that, and we started with the Next Generation and watched it through. Then we did DS9 and Voyager and all that, and we'd been through pretty much, and the only one she really hadn't seen at the time was in the original series. So one night we came here to the house, and I popped in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And we watched The Wrath of Khan. That was the first time, as far as I know, she'd seen it, or at least since it came out long, you know what I mean? And she was hooked, and she wanted to rewatch the original series, so we watched the original series, thanks to The Wrath of Khan. The motion picture, which I happen to have the soundtrack to right here, was... Yay, we got Star Trek again. It's a movie. Man, that was a long, hard watch. I remember being a little kid watching it. My older brother and his wife lived with my mom and us, and we lived in a trailer house, and they lived in the very back room back there at the other end of the trailer house. And I remember all of us gathering around to watch on his tiny little TV the motion picture. That was weird. Never saw it in the theaters, though. Anyway, I was poor. Anyway, the motion picture was a hard watch. It was long. It was boring. There was so much computer-generated crap that it was just a very sleeper kind of a watch. And I believe Gene Roddenberry had some heavy influence in it. And because of the performance of that first movie, they kept Gene Roddenberry from having anything to do with The Wrath of Khan, or took away his influence. And they believe that was one of the reasons why it was such a great movie. I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. Yeah. Wrath of Khan is still easily. That's what Section 31 should have been. They should have gone for trying to best Wrath of Khan rather than trying to be the Big Bang Theory in space, or whatever the hell they were doing. But when you go watch Star Wars. You remember there was the episode of Star Wars or the movie of Star Wars where they had the last ship was broken and the bad guys can follow them through hyperspace and they're running out of fuel, and the good guys get in a boat off of one of the big ships and go to a casino and go through all this running around a casino, have a good time, party, kind of weird shit, and you'll come all the way back to the thing for nothing. There was no benefit out of that at all. It was all so you could see these running. That's what they did to this Star Trek. This whole Star Trek is just like that. It's just it makes my head hurt. It was a very missed opportunity. They really could have gone after a Star Trek. Why do they think Star Trek has to be dumb? These writers. I'd like to have some words with these writers if I could. Probably be the richest person I ever spoke to in my life, but that's okay. Has anyone seen the fan-made Star Trek shows like Star Trek New Voyages or Star Trek Continues? Those are amazing. So was the cartoon series called Phase 2? Is that right? Am I remembering right? Because they were planning on a second series. Anyway, yeah. I have not seen Star Trek Continues. I have not seen either one of them. Lots of opportunity there for stuff to go see. I've seen all the Trek fan films. Renegade was pretty good. Yeah. When you write a story, you reread every scene, and if the passage doesn't move the story along, get rid of it. That was one of the things. I've watched some shows recently where, Section 31 being a specific case of that, where I remember being an early writer and you're like, there are things they tell you don't do. These are just things you don't do as a writer. Like these people who wrote this movie, they don't seem like very good writers. I love Michelle Yeoh. She did what Michelle Yeoh does. It's really, even her stuff could have been better, and I don't blame her. Because her character is a serious character put into a stupid world. And I found it's really hard to watch. Is Nerdy Rodent here? Did I see Nerdy Rodent? Nerdy Rodent is here. Firefly. Love me some Firefly. Don't like Josh Whedon. Love some Firefly. Used to like Josh Whedon. Then I found out he was a douche. Star Trek reboot films felt a slap in the face to longtime fans. I guess I was too young to know. My mother really loved the original Star Trek, Kirk and all that. And the movies, when the movies were coming out, they were more, it was just a continuation in my mind. I never really saw the disconnect between the two. Like some people saw whenever The Next Generation came out and they posted images in the newspaper of who the cast were going to be for The Next Generation. A lot of people were really upset. They didn't like it. They thought The Next Gen, I remember a lot of OG fans not liking The Next Generation, at first. So I guess that kind of comes along. Brent A says, fuck Josh Whedon, misogynist asshole. Yes. Very well said, Brent. That's like a haiku. Poetical. Yeah. The work I didn't find out about what kind of ass he was until after Guardians of the Galaxy, where he did the first one. I thought it was a great movie. I can't deny his talent and that he's good at what he does. I just don't have to like him. I don't have to, And then, of course, to know and support him, he's just a douche. I'd like to think everybody could change, but, Good morning, Ollie. How's it going? Nice to see you there. Left-Handed Jedi says it is like when the new Doctor joins the cast and people dislike them until they fall in love over again. Very true. Yeah. Yep. I remember whenever I started watching the new Doctor Who, Eccleston, the 10th Doctor, I believe. I watched that and I enjoyed that one. Me and the wife almost got back into it, but Doctor Who 11, 12, or whatever, 13. They do good for a while, and then it gets really, really rough. It gets hard to watch. I hope they got better because we couldn't get through it. Anthony Fremont, good morning. Says, favorite Star Trek episode featured a non-human, all-powerful villain called Nomad. Favorite Star Trek all-powerful villain called Nomad. Nomad in the original series was a machine, wasn't it? It was a... Let me do here. Star Trek Nomad. We even have somebody here who comes in the show going by that name. There it is. Yeah, I got a picture of it. Nomad right here. Yeah, it's I like Eccleston and Tinker. Nomad was the probe. Okay. Oh, now I need to go rewatch that one. It's been so long. The Changeling. Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah. Very cool. Nomad was the probe. Yeah, that's crazy. The rebut to me was like poking at the fandom and trying to be serious. Yeah. One of the things I liked, the Orville. Yeah, I mean, at first I didn't like the Orville. First couple of episodes are a little, because I love Seth MacFarlane. Seth, if you're watching, but it's got a little bit of, the comedy is a little more lowbrow than I like in the first couple episodes. But once it gets past that and it starts finding itself, that is some good shit. And then the battle, there's a few battles in there that are some fantastic space battles. I really enjoy the Orville. Tennant and Smith. Yeah, Tennant and Smith. Matt Smith. Yeah, David Tennant and Matt Smith. Those are some yeah, I really enjoy those two. My understanding is Eccleston didn't want to do it because of the work. It was too much work. One season was all he had. He's like, I'm out. I don't answer questions. Says he's not. Who's not? Oh. Let's see. Nomad was the probe. Orville. Okay, gotcha. Good morning. I don't answer questions. Nice to have you with us. Gray old dude says, when TNG came out, I refused to watch it for a long time because I felt it betrayed the spirit of Trek. After I finally broke down and watched it, I loved it. Yeah, it was... Yeah. To me, when it was coming out, it was in 86. I was like 12 or 14, somewhere in there. And my mom had her original series. This was mine. She had her NCC 1701 was like a 1950s Ford Fairlane. And the NCC 1701D was like a Ferrari, an 80s Ferrari. That's kind of how I saw the differences. And I was all about my Ferrari. Baffo Jr. says, question, are there any Star Trek games? Like, why not? There are some Star Trek games. Varying levels of quality. I remember Voyager used to have a game out. There's several, not like Star Wars, so they really could put more effort into that. Sean Alexander says, in my humble opinion, the Orville did a fantastic job at keeping with the true spirit of Star Trek. Yeah. That was one of the things. I mean, I don't mind. A lot of people didn't like Discovery because of the woke nature of Discovery. But if you don't like the woke nature of Discovery, then you don't really understand the history of Star Trek. Star Trek has a history of being woke and being closed-minded. It has a history of being both. Sure, the first I think lesbian kiss on television was Star Trek Deep Space Nine, if I remember right. The original series, they wanted to have some of those things too. But they couldn't. They were going to have Sulu be gay, but there was no way they could get away with that sort of thing. Then you go watch and you see how, watch the final episode of the original series. Now we think, oh yes, they're progressive. They're very good. Watch that final episode and you will walk away disgusted with Star Trek, the original series. The final episode of the entire series is the one where a woman is mad at Kirk because somehow he advanced over her sometime in the past or some business. I don't remember. But she switches bodies with him. And therefore you get to see how William Shatner and the writers and producers of the show think a woman thinks and would act. And it's disgusting. It's really unfortunate. It's very hard to watch. Yeah. The biracial kiss, they never kissed. Well, let's see here. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. What about in the U.S.? Law and Order. Okay, lesbian kiss. Well, they did do it though in the 90s. They did one, and you're right. It was a black and white kiss. But I don't think they ever actually kissed. You don't see their lips touch. Kirk and Uhura. Let me leave that one open for Dave with his outfit. Let me see here. He leans her like this, and it gets real close, but you don't actually see them kiss. I think so, unless I'm wrong. We'll pull it up here and we'll see. And my understanding was Shatner kept making stupid faces because they were trying to make it to fake it to, and he insisted. He did things to make it to where they had to do at least this. Let me get this up for you so you can see what I'm talking about. And we'll watch together. I just now popped it up. We'll see. Mine, if I remember correctly, they don't actually kiss. I want to be wrong. I really do want to be wrong. I want them to kiss here. Let's see what
I
happens.
would see you so busy at your command.
Can't hear it? That's okay.
And I would hear your voice from all parts of the ship. And my fears would fade.
All right, now get on to the kissing. Now, are they going to kiss? Are they going to kiss? Are they going to kiss? Almost. You don't actually see their... You want to see it again? Almost. Almost. He turns. You don't actually see their lips kiss. Yeah, there were. They tried, though. I guess we can give them the credit for trying. Kirk kissed Alien. Kirk kissed a lot of people. It was a story kiss, if not a real one. That is true, Mel's Rebellion. I do, yes, no doubt. Got to give them the credit for that. Really, my point is that despite all their efforts, they were still limited. You know, they still tried. Native Atheist is here. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Native Atheist, I saw it yesterday just after the show. You missed the show, but thank you for that. Appreciate you. Kirk stumped his way across the galaxy. And, you know, if you've seen some of the aliens, if aliens look like that, I can't really blame him. I'm going to go get some coffee, guys. I'll be right back. Let me do this thing here. Let's go with a go.
Have you sinned again? Oh, and it's bad this time. A chicken just won't do. But wait. You don't have a goat for your burnt offering. Oh, no. The Lord's wrath is upon you.
Insignificant person whose name I don't know, you have sinned. Probably. I shall snipe thee.
What do you do? You're all out of goats. She left you for another man.
Fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles.
No goat? No problem. Just light one of these bad boys and let the sweet, savory scent of burning built flesh rise up to the heavens.
Is that goat?
It's easy, it's fast, and deluxe models even have patented technology that produces a goat screaming sound as the wick burns.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented candles. Save a goat, burn a candle.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles are part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program.
When you sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. When the Lord requires that pungent smell, light a candle or you're going to hell.
Here I am. I had to make coffee. I had to make another little bit of coffee. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Don't let yourself run out of goats if you know what is good for you. Very true. Or at least get you some goat-scented flesh candles. Gray old dude. Save you some money. Okay, is it wrong of me that I really don't like that burrito song? Well, you're the only one so far that doesn't like it. Everybody else likes it. Until they don't like it. Until they've heard it so much they can't get it out of their head, then they don't like it. But I have another one, Tristan, that have you heard? It's not the same one. It's a different. I want an army of goats so I don't have to cut my lawn anymore. I didn't know that was a thing, but that's a thing. People actually have goats and they rent them out and take them out to places and let them eat all the vegetation off of places. I saw a video on it recently. I knew it was a thing. I just didn't know it was still a thing. I don't know. Later, Muttley Von Erich. See you later. IPL is streaming. Good. Go get them. Kelly Laughlin, good morning. How's things going, man? I hope you're doing all right. Do you have a, Kelly, do you have a PayPal? Sorry if I don't remember. I'm fighting off a headache. Do you have a PayPal link that you could post in our chat? I know there's a GoFundMe. I just don't know how the GoFundMe works. I don't know. I don't want to give money to it if you're not going to get it for, but if, just if you can, Kelly, if you have a PayPal or some business, both put that in there. Kelly could use some help. Anybody out there can help them? I was going to yesterday. I just didn't happen to. Helen is taking care of the GoFundMe. That's right. I don't know how. Here's my deal. The GoFundMe is set to get to $4,000. It's only got like a few $100s in there now. And if you don't get to $4,000, do you get the money? I don't know. How long is it before you get the money? I don't know. But if I PayPal you $50 right now, you get it today. So I could PayPal you $50, or I could go throw it to the campaign that I don't know when or if or how you're going to get it. See where I'm going? That's the deal. Okay. You get it through the GoFundMe. Okay. Because getting it through the GoFundMe by giving it through the GoFundMe makes the numbers look better and more people are likely to give through there. So I don't mind doing it. I just want to make sure you can get to it when you need it. So, okay. So if you don't mind, Kelly, drop us a link in there. Or there's the PayPal. Either way. PayPal works. So if you don't mind, Kelly could use some help. They had some financial problems this year. His little business hasn't been doing very well. And they could use some help. So if you can, hook them up. I'm going to right after the show. I got some plans. I'd like to be able to figure out, I'd like to figure out how to solve the problem. Kelly has a problem. How can we solve Kelly's problem? How can Kelly, that kind of means, but sometimes you just need help to get through until you can figure out how to solve the problem. So whatever, whatever helps. Girl, dude, I'm going to invent a new finance site. I'm going to call it Go Fund Yourself. It's simple. Ask for money, then go fund yourself. So it is just Kelly Laughlin at yahoo.com is your, okay, gotcha. I got that. Let me write that down. Boo. Laughlin at Yahoo. That's where it's at. Bolt it. So if you can, guys, that'd be nice. So, I have heard that they're going to have a reunion of the living Firefly members because the actor who played Shepard Book is not alive anymore. And the character Wash is not alive anymore. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but I heard they were going to bring him back to something. I hear you, Kelly. No, I hear you, man. I just wish there was more we could do, temporary fix is a temporary fix, even, whatever. Band-Aid get you through, I wish we could build his YouTube channel, but we can't do that. Not like I wanted to. I thought we, because he's spent so many years, surely, but anyway. So what do you guys have? I got it. My nose is itching. What do you guys have on your list of things to watch? You got any sci-fi in plan? Because I know we've got Rion is watching Star Trek: The Next Generation. I think she's at least season 4 or 5 now. I was kind of hoping Darante would get to, but man, he's so busy. He's got the wife, the job, the 4 kids, the YouTube channel. He probably doesn't have a mad amount of time to watch things. Sang Ji says waiting for Mickey 17. Me too. We tried to see if we could find it online last night, but it's still in the theaters. Infidel. Oh, man. Star Trek. Oh, if only I could say that I could go back and rewatch them for the first time. If I were you, if you've seen the TNG and it's been a long time ago, pick it up, watch it again. Just because, if it's been 25 years since you've seen The Next Generation, you might pick it up and kind of give a refresher. Then Deep Space Nine's got Black Captain, Avery Brooks. Love me some Cisco, Captain Cisco. Commander at first. But the Deep Space Nine is a wonderful overarching story. The Next Generation is the same. It's a bottle episode. Every episode is a bottle. The story doesn't, there are some overarching themes like the Borg and things like that. But really, it's all kind of like every episode's pretty much in its own little bottle. The Deep Space Nine is an overarching war story starting in season 3 with the Dominion War, the opening of the Dominion War. The first 2 seasons kind of get everything set up, and then you get the rest of it is this overarching war for the Alpha Quadrant and the Gamma Quadrant, and it's really good. It's not, but unlike Enterprise, now see, here's where Enterprise went wrong shortly thereafter. Enterprise started doing these 3 and 4 episode arcs. That's not what Deep Space Nine did. It was still, every episode was encapsulated in a thing, but it was over in an overall story. With Enterprise, you had to sit down and watch 3 and 4 and 5 episode arcs in the last season. And whenever it was coming out like this, I told my little brother, we were watching, I was like, this is it. It's done. It's not going to last. And it didn't. It just, they weren't doing it right. You couldn't sit down in the middle of an episode or just pick up an episode. Because it's, in the last episode, you had to watch 2 episodes before, and you had to make sure you catch the next episode, or you're not going to get the whole thing, and it just kind of. The Xindi War, thank you, Brent. Brent A. says the Xindi War in Enterprise was idiotic. I share that assertion. They could have done the Romulan Wars. The Romulan Wars were there for their taking, and they could have done the Romulan Wars, but no, they had to do the Xindi Wars. Yep. A Gray Dude says, I'm rewatching all things Star Trek. So far, I've rewatched all the modern Treks. Right now, I'm just starting season 2 of the original series. Awesome. Way to go. Way to go. Okay. Infidel says, I watched TNG for the first time during the pandemic. Awesome sauce. Then in that case, really Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine, it's a little hard to get into. The first, season is a little rough. It's 90s, late 90s. So the graphics are a little wanting. Some of the things are, how it is the first season of a show, but man, if you can get through that, it's going to pay off. Some of my favorite characters, a Cardassian is one of my favorite characters in all of Star Trek. A Cardassian, who would have thought? Anybody out there know the Cardassian's name? Can you guess the name? There's only one Cardassian, right? There's only one Ferengi. That's real. Well, no, there's not more than one. There's more than one Ferengi. You could say Quark. Quark's a great Ferengi. He's a wonderful Ferengi. I love me some Quark. But Rom is also a fantastic Ferengi. He does a great job watching his character arc go. And then Nog has the best, in my opinion, character arc of anybody in sci-fi, really. He goes from being a Ferengi thief to a Starfleet admiral by the time it's all done. Kim, let's see. Let's go here. I'm going to see if you've got their name. Xindi Wars. Okay, so Garrick. Garrick is the Cardassian that I like. Love me some Garrick, played by Andrew Robinson. He was fantastic. Most of what there is was centered on the shop. Okay, Kelly, I missed something, brother. Oh, I see. The Ferengi episodes hurt DS9, added too much stupid. Some people thought that. I enjoyed them. Yeah, as a part of the whole. And that's what we're talking about now. Like, whenever you go watch a Ferengi episode, yes, they were a little campy. They were our lighthearted episodes. We had some serious episodes. We had lighthearted episodes. I enjoyed some of the Ferengi ones, not all of them, right? But some of them were pretty good. But let's see here. But overall, though, I really appreciate the way the Ferengi came along. But Garrick, he was my favorite. Gul Dukat was great. Gul Dukat was a great villain. And a lot of people don't know that Gul Dukat is through the entire series. The character is there in the very first episode and the very last episode. And that's, he's not there in every episode, obviously. He's, a recurring character. But his arc is there all the way from the beginning to be the foil to Cisco. See, the Brent A has got a really good point, and this is one of the things that if you're going to watch DS9 for the first time and you're unaware, this is good to know. Brent A says DS9 pissed me off because of the religion BS. Trek is more enlightened. Gay space communism, please. Yes. See, that's what happened to a lot of, if you watch the first couple, remember, as you're watching the first season, they do go through this about how the prophets are prophets, and really they live in this wormhole and they are without time. So they see, you know, I mean, like they know what happened 20,000 years ago and what happens 5,000. So they're without time. That actually scientifically makes sense based on what we know of a wormhole. But their influence is not galactic. They're really only about Bajor. That's all their business. They're not gods. Now, they're called prophets, and the Federation people start calling them the wormhole aliens. So if you didn't stick with it long enough, Brent, you may have, I don't know, but if the Federation people eventually start referring to them as just wormhole aliens, and there is an entire episode, part of an arc, but not an arc, right? Done in a good way. There's an episode where one of the religious leaders comes up to the station and starts boycotting and causing all kinds of problems because the Starfleet people won't accept them as prophets. So there's a lot more to it than that. I understand. I had the same problem. I did. Brent A, that and the Latin, I'm just saying, post-scarcity means no money. Well, this is 300 years after post-scarcity. Brent, I thought DS9 did a great job of depicting the conflicts between the religion and the science. Yeah, that's that. But again, I agree with both of you gentlemen. It did take some time before, because at first they kind of did play up the prophet thing. They didn't talk about a god. There was no gods involved. They were prophets. And wraiths are bad prophets. I mean, it's really, technically, they're just another species of alien, not unlike Q. Q could be more like a real god than the prophets when you stop and think about it. Q is godlike. The prophets, not so much. Enigmatic, you know, but they're not as godlike as Q. But just like Q, the Federation, the Jean-Luc Picard, did not bow down to Q and go, oh my goodness, you're a god. Just like Cisco doesn't in the thing. Now, Cisco turns out to be part of their group and works with the PAL race, and it's complicated. And I have to admit, I didn't really kind of enjoy the ending, how that all ended. But I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't seen it. So if I would, let's see, who was that? Infidel, yeah. If you start DS9, you're in for a treat, man. I tell you, it's a good show. Good show. Now, they're actually, we call us Niners. If your favorite Star Trek is DS9, you're a Niner. I'm a Niner, see. Fun fact, Morn from Quark's Bar was a nod to, Morn from Quark, no, yeah, Norm. Yes, he was. I like how they would always Norm will just never shut up. You know, you just can't get him to stop talking. They always talked about him like he was some sort of, but he never said a word throughout the whole show. I dig it. Even Cisco hated the religious aspect to the wormhole aliens. He did through the whole thing. He fought it for such a long time, to realizing that he was their, what they call him, their emissary, which was not, it was an emissary. It was a mediator between the humans and the PAL Wraith. Or not the PAL, well, man, between the prophets. But that was all he was. He wasn't a god. You know, some people like to equate him to Jesus and Gul Dukat to Satan. You could do that, but again, these are not as high level creatures as what they're going on. But it was a good show. Q was my favorite friendly sort of alien. Very true. I've met him several times, the actor who played Q, on Star Trek cruises, both times. The whole Cisco and the Chosen One seemed like pasting over a giant plot hole, to be honest. Yeah, they really circle back. But then you go watch the making of the show, and a lot of times they'll talk about how they didn't really know where they were going. They just kind of wrote shit as it came up. But they did have the overarching story. So Kai Wynn, Left-Handed Jedi, says Kai Wynn was my least favorite character. And that is a testament to the actress's work. She was fantastic. I can't remember her name right off. She played in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Nurse Ratched was her name in the One Flew Over the, yeah. And that actress did a really good job. She was, because you hated her so much, you know? Yes. When was Nurse Ratched in Cuckoo's Nest? That's right. Yep. And she did a great job. She passed not long back as well, I believe. Good morning, Ember. Nice to have you with us this morning. Yeah, he was on Truth Wanted once. Yeah, if I knew how, I would have reach out and see if I could get him to come on the Daily Atheist Morning Show. Let us get a little bigger. And I think he would. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because he's cool. Well, all right, so let me tell you the couple times I've spoken to him. Well, the time I remember, because we had our photograph with him, so we got to talk to him then. But then there was a time in an elevator. I got in an elevator. He was in an elevator. We were masked because it was Cootieville. And this other person was in the elevator. They gave him a wristband. That person got off the elevator. Somebody else said, hey, can I have that? If you don't want it, I'll take it. He gave it to them, got off the elevator. And then that person said, man, this would have been better if it came from somebody from the show, not realizing it was John Delancey that gave her the thing. That experience. And then, but while we were in the elevator, he was talking to me. I don't remember what we were talking about, but he was talking to me, like to me. Another time we were getting our photographs taken by a different actor. We were in line and we were going past his table and something happened. I don't remember, something political was going on. He was talking about something, but he stopped up from his signing his papers and he looks over at me because I'm over there. I'm not here in front of him. I'm over there. So he stops. He's like, did you hear about that? And he just started talking to me in the line and that is just crazy. And we talked. I was like, I know, man, right? Yeah. I didn't know what the hell to say. I got the evil one was there. Titan Uranus, good morning. Nice to have you with us this morning. We were watching Foundation, and I heard the phrase, is a frog's ass watertight? And I wouldn't think I'd have heard that phrase coming from a group of people who are allegedly like 15,000 years into our future, but it was poignant. And I thought of you, Titan Uranus. For whatever that's worth, brother. Good morning. Just doing my makeup. Oh, hi, awesome sauce. Louise Fletcher. Yes, she was fantastic. She did a great job. Brent A, you say circular. I say bad writing. Opinions are like assholes. Circular. I'm not sure, Dave. Some could be bad writing. It could be. You know, I mean, it's some of it's perspective. A lot of people really like Discovery. I think it's bad writing, shit writing. It's not even Star Trek. Some of it's not even Star Trek. It's just shit. It's not even good sci-fi. It's just shit sci-fi. And it doesn't have nothing to do with the color of the people or their genitals. I don't have to. Good morning, Dragons in Genesis. How are you doing? Nice to have you with us this morning. Jason, are you a DS9 fan? Or are you a TOS fan? What's your deal? 26 watching and 25 likes. Who's the slacker? There's a slacker. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys. The Sci-Fi Saturday shows are always a little slower than the rest, but that's okay. Not everybody digs the sci-fi. Not all of us are cool kids like us. Cello to you. Good morning. Let's see. Dragons in Genesis. That's right. So do you have a favorite Star Trek? Dragons? Jason, do you have a favorite? Titan Uranus says, I'm on everybody's mind when they do their kegels. So true. It's the simple things in life. I'm just saying. Nice to have you guys here. All right. So, morning, Bree. Hail Bigfoot. Yeah, that's right, Bree. You know, I'm going to go link to your show, Bree, if you're still there. Let me do that. Sometimes I remember to, and sometimes I do not. So I'll link to Bree's show, and that way, whenever we're done here, it'll just pop you over to Bree's show. Man, we are growing again up to 5641. I stalled there for a while I was doing other things, and I finally got to growing again. Let's go to Hive Sci and get us some Hive Sci. For Bree, I want to pull this open. Bum. And then, so Dragons in Genesis, my favorite is Bigfoot. Giles says, I thought Cumberbatch was a good con. Let me say this. I'll say it like this. I like Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict Cumberbatch is a consummate actor. Whatever he does, he brings it all to it. I absolutely flaw him nothing for his role. I thought he was a horribly cast for the role of Khan, a Middle Eastern man from India. A Middle Eastern man from India that they actually thought would be so dark that they darkened Ricardo Montalban's skin to make him look like an Indian. And yet we get the whitest man on the planet next to Elon Musk, of course, to play Khan. You know, Brent A says, "Oh my God, I'm not a fan of Cumberbatch and his acting sucks." See, that's awesome. His name is Bandersnatch Cumberbund. Take it. Yeah, was a good villain, not a con. Yeah, that's the deal. Not a con. He just he wasn't con, you know, if you know what I mean. Let me just go back here and find Bree's channel real quick and find her latest. YouTube. Bree Hafsa. Yeah, so I like his efforts and his work. I just feel like he was, oh, hey, wait a second. Have you guys heard about that new John Wick movie? Let me post this up here. I don't know why I'm not hearing anything. Let me post this here. I have a friend. He was on our show a couple weeks ago. Gavin goes to the movies. He just did a review on the new John Wick movie. It's not John Wick though. It's the Ballerina. Have y'all seen that one? Looks good. So I posted a link. Give it a shot. Give it a check out. Didn't have a lot of views yet. So let's find Bree. Where's my Bree? Where's Bree? YouTube, don't be a jerk. I should have done this before. I must have forgotten because I'm a bad person. Where is Hive Side? There she is. Awesome sauce. Kelly Laughlin, my son calls him Bendy Dick Cucumber Patch. Yeah. What a name, right? What a name. Let's see. Oh, you don't have a show. Oh, over here. Let me find it. There it is. So she's going to be doing here. To be a good con, the actor must be able to say fine Corinthian leather in a sexy voice. Very true. Made out of real Corinthians. Let me go here and do that. There we go, Bree. So whenever I shut down, people will be bopped over to you. Awesome. There we go. I mean to do that for Punk Apostate during the week, but sometimes I forget. Or he doesn't have his show built. So I can't do it if he doesn't have his show built. There we go. Star Trek. I enjoyed Knives Out. Me too. I did too. Wait, is this Glass? Yeah, Glass. The Knives Out and then Glass House or Glass Onion. Is that right? There was two movies. I like the second one better. That's one of the rare instances where I prefer the second movie to the original one. The first movie, if I'm thinking the right two movies, was in a mansion, an old dusty kind of claustrophobic mansion. The new one was in a palatial kind of new modern mansion. It was wide and lots of open spaces, and I really enjoyed that one much better. I don't know why. It's just Khan, it was genetically engineered, and if we know anything about people trying to build a master race, we know they're going to make them white. That's a good point. That's a good point. The deal is, though, I don't know if white people would do that, but would Indians do that? Would Indians in India create a genetically superior person and make him white? I just don't know that they would do that. Have you seen RRR? All I've seen is the commercials for it, and they're already superior. Hiveside, just pretend that Khan is a variant of Strange in that verse. There you go. Well, I don't mind him. I mean, it's okay. It makes for a good flick. It's entertaining and all that business. It's just poorly cast. And one of the things I really enjoy about it is the music from that one. Whenever the one man's daughter is dying, the music, it's good music. I really enjoy the music with it. There was just a lot that, I don't know, really, I think really in that one movie, the Benedict Cumberbatch thing is the only thing that really kind of sticks out to me that kind of bothers me. There's other things, you know, as always, if you go far enough, but that was really glaring, you know. And then that they were going to surprise us and Go and call him John Harrigan or something, Harrison or something. Yeah, no, nobody fooled nobody. You didn't fool nobody. Nice at Knives Out. Knives Out was great. Oh, poll. We do have a poll. We do have a poll. Do you guys want to talk about the poll briefly? Actually, shades. Now, the poll is kind of religious. We've been talking mostly sci-fi. My buddy had a red on red 77 Chrysler Cordoba. Wow, with red Corinthian leather. That's awesome. My understanding is there's no such thing. It's all fake. It's all made up. It's just leather. But that's, here's our post. Here is our post for our poll for the day. There's a link if you want to go check it out. The question of the day is, which sci-fi villain best represents the biblical God? We don't have a lot of options up there. I'm only able to give 3. So far we have Emperor Palpatine, the Borg, Lovecraftian elder gods, or none or all of the above. So let's see how many votes we have. Pardon me. Later, Kelly. I'll do the thing as. Pardon me. Later, Kelly. I'll do the thing as soon as I'm done with the show. And I hope it helps. Anybody out there, if you can, help Kelly out, and we'll post that link again. Let's see if I can do this. Kelly Laughlin at Yahoo. Okay, that's his PayPal, guys. So if you don't mind helping Kelly out, the Borg, LOL, assimilation or annihilation. That does sound, what these Christians come on, they're like, but Jesus gave you a choice. Oh, that's not a choice. Follow me or burn in hell forever. That's not a choice. That's never a choice. If somebody holds a gun to your head and tells you to do something, that's not a choice. Those aren't choices. There we go. Uranus bleaching. Yeah. Actually, shading bias is prevalent among people of color in a lot of cultures now. Our world is crazy. I'm gonna go get some coffee. We did the goat scented commercial or goat commercial earlier. And we did the goat commercial, and somebody said they didn't like the Pharaoh's Curse song. Interesting. Oh, well, we're going to do this.
Mi burrito es tan bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco fue no bueno, it stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister, now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's right between my legs.
All right, we are back. So I had to get me some more coffee, a little coffee and cannabis, hippie speedball, as it were. Let me ask you, have anybody here in our chat seen Foundation yet? Any Foundation fans? Me and the Evil One just finished watching. There's only 2 seasons out. If you haven't, go check it out. I'm a fan. Some people don't like it, as with anything, you know. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not going to like it. I don't like Discovery. And some people in chat are like, I really like Discovery. I appreciate that you do. I don't like it for some reasons. Anyway, the Foundation show coming out on Apple is fantastic. I really enjoy it. Now, I read my first book I ever read was Foundation's Edge. I have to say, it doesn't stick with Isaac Asimov's story very much. It does some, does not. You got to just enjoy it. If you've read the books, it's probably been so long that you don't really remember. What you will notice is that, and I don't know, let me ask the question. I got to ask chat something that's kind of been bothering me. I was laying in bed last night thinking about it because of this. But there weren't a lot of people of color in Isaac Asimov's stories, despite the nature of where they were. Now, I do remember that in one of the stories I read, one of the books I read, there was a person here it was on Trantor, I think. And a ship came in from another place. We'll call it Thespis. I don't remember what it was. But I remember them saying that the people who got off had bronze-like skin from after thousands of years of being in their environment on their planet. It had changed their skin tone kind of thing. That's all I remember. Let's go here. I'm just asking a question. Part of the reason, all right, so the question I'm asking is, was Isaac Asimov racist or sexist? And the reason why is because I think it really has more to do with his era from where he came from and the time he lived in. But there's like none of the, if you go watch the story Foundation, there's Salvor Hardin and Gail Dornick and all these women there. They're not there. They're not there. In the original stories, if you go back and read the books, they're not women. They're men. They're all white men. All the stories there are very few women in Isaac Asimov's stories. And then when there are, the men are all white men. And so they've changed a lot. Like Gail Dornick is she looks Indian in nature. The actress who plays Salvor Hardin is straight African-American. You know what I mean? And a female. So these things really were not so if you're familiar with the Foundation and you go into it with that kind of thinking, just be open. Be open. You're watching something else. It's got the Cleonic dynasty, which is the Cleons. That's not even in the Foundation at all. So there's a lot, but you got to watch it and appreciate it for what it is. And man, they're just doing a really good job. They're doing a really good job with it. Color wasn't specified in Asimov. Yeah. I asked the question. I just haven't. Yeah. So Isaac Asimov, one of the most influential science fiction authors of the 20th century, had a complicated legacy when it comes to issues like racism and sexism. While there's no substantial evidence that he held overt racist views in his writings or public statements, some aspects of his behavior and social attitudes have raised concerns, particularly regarding sexism and inappropriate conduct. As far as racism, there's no record of Asimov being overtly racist in the way we might use the term today. In fact, his writings often emphasized rationality, universalism, and a future where humanity transcends things like rationality. See, that's why I was so hesitant to look it up. I didn't want to know if he was racist, because that's the way I always thought about it. Was that I don't remember there being a lot of women in the stories, but I don't remember it ever being racist in any way. But it says, however, critics have often pointed out his work, particularly early on, right? Now, see, my thinking is people should be able to grow and learn. Often lacked diversity. Most of his characters were white, male, and American, reflecting the norms of mid-century science fiction rather than pushing boundaries. He rarely included non-white characters, and when he did, they were not often deeply developed or central. Sexism and misconduct. Where Asimov's legacy is more clearly problematic is in how he treated women. He was well known within science fiction circles for inappropriate touching, such as groping women at conventions. I didn't know that. He even joked about it in public. Some contemporaries and biographers have described him as handsy and dismissive of concerns about his behavior. These actions would almost certainly be considered sexual harassment by today's standards. Interesting. Who'd have thought? One of my favorite sci-fi writers. Of course, I would say that, but I haven't read a lot of his books, just a few of the Foundation series. Oh, yeah. I remember one of the short stories I wrote about him. Yeah, like a product of his time, too. Yeah, like I talk about myself, sometimes I slip because of my age and where I come from. I remember reading a story where he was talking about a girl who was laying on her bed. There was a tablet on the bed beside her. And if I remember right, guys, this is 45 years ago. It's a long time ago. There's a tablet beside her, and she was reading out, telling the tablet what she wanted. It was transcribing her words. And this was back in the 40s or 50s whenever he wrote it. So he was ahead of his time, to be sure. So there we go. I think it's worth noting that Asimov's writing was largely in a time when any sci-fi with a woman in the lead was hard to find. And see, that's great. That's a topic that DS9 actually tackles. There's an episode, 2 or 3 part episode, where they go, the Pa Race trick Cisco into thinking he's actually a writer back in the 1950s at a little sci-fi pulp fiction kind of Pulp Fiction, small outfit, not the movie, a small outfit, where he's a writer for one of these things. And they don't want people to know he's black. And there's a woman writer in the group, and they don't want them to know that she's a woman. So she writes with initials like DC Fontana did during the original series. That's a homage to her, in fact. And that's sort of the thing, though, about those other people. It's hard to judge. It's one thing when we as atheists go, hey, man, why did they do these horrific things back in the Bible? And they're like, well, the Christians are like, well, they were a product of their time. And we're like, that's no excuse. God should have known better back then. Okay? Now, we talk about Isaac Asimov, and we're like, he is a product of his time. But Isaac Asimov is not God. He was a product of his time. The writings that these people in the book are talking about, they claim that it is the product of their God, which is without time. That's the difference. So in case you ever, sometimes we in our atheist scientific community will go, that guy did things that were not all that great, but he also did things that were good. He was a product of his time. We can do that because of those reasons. They can't do that with their God. Their God should have known that unaliving children was bad, that enslaving people was bad. You know what I mean? They didn't have to get to our time for their God to go, oh yeah, women are equal. They're not property. You know what I mean? So, Absalom. Anyway, I remember it. I'm remembering something. I remember something. I have my first, but I was too young to understand it. Interesting. I don't guess I have anyway. The Orville series I thought was great. Yeah, the Orville series, I really enjoyed it. I did myself. All right, you wonderful people. Thank you. I've just in the time that we've been on the show, I've been feeling so much better. I had a headache when I woke up. I'd like to blame the headache that I woke up at 1 or 1:30 this morning with, and I had the headache. I want to blame the 2 little mixed drinks I had yesterday, because I tend to get headaches when I drink alcohol lately. But those are just headaches. This was a headache with the pukies and the hot sweats and the laying on the bathroom floor, and I get that. That's a migraine. Persisted all the way through the show until I got here. So I want to blame the alcohol, because if it's a migraine, it's like there's something wrong with my head. Anyway, we knew I wasn't right in the head. Drink more water, Brent says. Yes. Yes, Brent. Yes. Migraines suck. They do suck. They're never fun. They're never as fun as they sound. Was a native. I don't know anything about Frank Baum. I have to check it out. Pierre Anthony definitely has issues with it. There. Well, let's look at, now there's one thing about talking about having issues. Isaac Asimov, we want to say he was a product of his time. However, when we look, even his contemporaries said that he was beyond what was acceptable. So he was whenever his attraction to women and inability to maintain his own hands and stuff, that is not normal. That's not a product of his time. You know what I mean? He can't really write that off. Otherwise, everybody would have done it. People would be like, "Hey, how come you're not grabbing that woman's butt? What's wrong with you?" So he can't really excuse that. Just like anybody who, man, they may have been a great author, or they may have been a great scientist, and yet they had attractions to children. You can't go, that's a product of their time. That's a different product of something else, psychological, biological nature. I don't think people really choose that. I think it's just something in their brain. It's not something you choose, I don't think. But that doesn't excuse, that's not being a product of your time. That's being an outlier of what society considers normal. Those aren't the same as much as we want. Alcohol can also, yes, dehydrate, yes. Robert E. Howard makes Lovecraft look tame. I haven't kept up with it. I'm not really much of a horror person myself. I mean, if it's good sci-fi and horror, I'll do it. In retrospect, it should have been very obvious. I was a fan as a kid. Tilting your books after a child's underwear is sus. Oh, yeah, I guess so, huh? You guys ain't right. All right, man. It is, I'm going to go ahead. It's time for Bree's show to start. I'm going to wrap my show up. Thank you all for joining us today. Let me see here. There we go. Dion Lachey became a channel supporter, and that was yesterday. So, man, I got an easy job today. Thank you guys for showing up today. I very much appreciate you. I'm already feeling better. Hanging out with my friends makes me feel better. Now I'm going to go get like food. Feed the evil one. And then I'm going to try to catch up with some of Bree's show. So go over there and hang out with Bree if you're not already. Okay, my friends. Sin safely, my friends. We'll see you Monday.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booths, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best